Okay, now that we got this on good and we checked it with the mainspring housing, we want to put the bolt in. You want to make sure that hammer is all the way down, and we're going to put in our bolt. Make sure there's a pin right here that holds the firing pin, and you want to make sure that that's not sticking out on either end of the bolt, because sometimes they'll get loose. And just sort of, sometimes you got to jiggle a little bit as you're putting it in there. Don't be afraid, just jiggle a little bit, and it'll go right in. Okay, so I hit the trigger. You want to pull the trigger and make sure that the hammer falls forward. You might have to, give it a push to get the hammer to come all the way up. And if you notice, I did that without the magazine. Next, we want to take the mainspring housing and push that bolt up. That's the first time it ever went in without banging it. I can't believe it. Now, you want to tip the gun up because you want that strut. You want that strut to be hanging so it goes into the proper place in the mainspring housing. And what you want to feel, is just a little bit of springy resistance, the last 1/8 inch of that swinging in. That way you know that the strut is in the proper place on top of the mainspring. And then flip that in. Go ahead and function test it. That's good. And I'm going to pull the trigger without the magazine in it. Look at that. Look how light that trigger is too. It's just crazy light. So that's how we make this gun a much more fun gun to own, by removing that unnecessary safety. I really think it is unsafety. One other reason why is because you're having to take the magazine in and out. I know it's one of the rules that's good to follow when you're messing, or when you're field stripping and cleaning your gun. You try to put your bullets somewhere totally out of the way. You try to put your cartridges, 22 cartridges, somewhere out of the way, so you don't somehow mix it into your cleaning. But if you don't, and you have a loaded magazine here and you have an empty magazine, you can mix them up when you're having to put the magazine into this thing every time you have to pull the trigger during disassembly or reassembly, and you could have a negligent discharge. So to me, that particular safety, the magazine disconnect safety, is actually creating a hazard, besides creating complexity in field stripping. And it also keeps your magazines from free falling outside. It keeps your magazine from free falling out of your pistol. So I'm very happy with this modification. There's other ways to do it. This is just one of the simpler ways, and you can try different size washers if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and pivot this. You can go ahead and try different washers, different combinations. I've seen some people who took the number 10 washers all the way across. They used two number 10s, and one of them they went ahead and filed different parts, so it sort of fits into this groove, like it's all just perfectly filling in what was cut out on the Mark III hammer. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do decide to do this, let me know how it went. And I know it can be difficult, especially if you pull that pin all the way out. You're going to have the safety fly out, and you're also going to have the magazine release fly off. So try to save yourself a lot of hassle and just pull it out just enough to get the hammer out. If not, you're going to be looking up on the internet how to put the safety back in. And if this safety comes out, there is a spring and a plunger in it that can fly out. So be very careful when you're doing this. Work somewhere where if something falls, you'll be able to find it. Because if this safety, if you pull that pin out too far, and your safety flies out of there, the spring and the plunger can fly out. And there's a little trick to putting that back. You sort of have to put it in and then rotate it down while pulling back on the sear and get it to sort of lock over the sear. So be careful. One thing I always recommend when you're all done, get the silicone rag and just go ahead and wipe all the dirt that you just put on there off. It helps protect the gun. You know, you just got done whaling on the barrel. Make sure my trigger. Go ahead and clean that up. It's also good to use on the magazines, and by applying a little bit of coating, you're helping it not only last a little longer, but it sort of adds like a little bit of a lubricant in there. Helps it slide right out. And well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of This Old House, of this old Mark III or new Mark III. And I hope if you succeed with this, that it makes using your Mark III much more enjoyable, knowing that you can field strip it much easier. I hope you keep on coming back to my channel. I'm going to try to do more of these instructional videos. You're going to have to bear with this mug, but we'll have fun together. Until next time, have a good one. Okie dokie.